JHK here for Sportskeeda, and join me right now is UFC welterweight Jordan Williams. Jordan, it's good to see your face again, man. How's life treating you?
Likewise, man. Good to see you, man. Life's good, man. Life's elevated out here in Colorado.
Hey, for more than one reason, huh?
Hey, you know.
You know how it is. And let's talk about last year, man. It was a wild year for everybody in the world, but for yourself in your career, it was crazy because you had a bunch of canceled fights in the earlier part of the year. Then you get the Contender Series fight, you win the contract. Less than a month later, you have to fly out to Fight Island to make your UFC debut. Not the result you wanted, but what did you get out of that whole experience, man, of just making your debut, going to Fight Island, and just experiencing everything?
If I were to summarize that in one word, I'd say the word also, like if I could, rise, man. It's been a rise, you know. It's been like with every height that you reach, there's obviously a ledge, and sometimes you step too far off it, and you know, like I had a loss last year at the end of it, but you know what? We're just gonna climb. It's last year has just been a climb. It's been a rise up, and it's been crazy. But I've just been thankful that I've been able to, you know, get to where I'm at right now with, like you said, all those canceled fights and all the mishap of 2020.
Do you feel like right now in your life, in your career, it's more stable because you've been through all of that craziness back then?
Yeah, I mean, I feel definitely like I have a grip on things more, and you know, I wish that, I didn't have to expend a loss on my contract to get more of a grip on things, but I definitely am making the most of it, like I said before. And yeah, it's this year, like it's been fun being in Colorado. Switch gears on you.
Before we talk about Colorado and your new home, you're returning on July 24th. It's been quite a long time between fights. Was that something you planned, or was it just difficult to get booked for a fight?
It was difficult. It was difficult to get booked before, it's like leading up until that Contender Series fight. It was difficult to get booked, and then like after my last fight, it's been recovering with injuries, and so we put both those. I've had quite a bit of a layoff just in general because of scheduling.
You mentioned injuries, right? So was it anything major, or was it just minor bumps and bruises that you just needed to take care of?
Yeah, it was major. Pretty major after the last fight. It's been, I found out I had a broken neck. I fought
What?
two fights. I fought a Contender Series fight with the broken neck, and I didn't even know it. And then after fighting my debut fight, had two fractures in my orbital and then two fractures on the correlating side of my nasal bone right there. So, yeah, just a lot of healing. I had some scheduled bouts I was supposed to follow through on, but just, reevaluating it with my management team and my new coach, Mark Montoya. We said, we'll just take some time, and we'll make a little bit longer of a gap in between your reappearance.
Wow, you just glanced over the broken neck part, man. That sounds pretty serious. Like, what did they do to fix your neck? Because you see like guys like Tito, right? They've gone through like 5 surgeries and their neck is still messed up. Like, what did they do? What doctors did they have some magic or something for you?
Hey, man, basically they said They said if there was any part of the neck that was a positive spot to break, it's on the outer lining of the vertebrae. So where it was, and it was on my C3. So I don't know how important of a vertebrae that is. It seems like they'd all be important, but um, basically, I didn't notice it, or sometimes you get those pains, or I get stingers, and sometimes when you like look a certain direction and like you rotate. I've been dealing with really problematic, and then not to get too specific on which one it is, but like it does make sense now why those would happen. I didn't put two and two together. When you get a stinger in your shoulder, you don't think that, oh, my neck's broke. You know what I'm saying? Like it's kind of like the doctor says, hey, you have an old fracture. It's not new. It's not from this fight. It's not a clean break. So you've been dealing with this for a while. So like, basically the magic sauce is just like being a badass, I guess. I don't know. I just didn't feel it. I didn't think of it was that much of a problem to not train. And it was funny because I didn't really believe my friend Colin Hart, old training partner, same thing. They're like, yeah, had a break in my neck. I was like, damn, like he really had a break in his neck. I was like, that. And then I was like, damn, Colin, you're a fucking savage. And then the same thing happened to me. So it's definitely things that I think athletes overlook their neck health.
Yeah. So like, how long did it take for you to recover from that injury? And you said you had the orbital breaks too.
To be honest, we're still working through them, and we're still healing from them. I actually got some platelet lysis injections from Stem Cell Healing Institute down in Guatemala. But I just went down there and had a good positive trip, and basically that's been like the only therapy besides hopping in the tub and getting in the Epsom salt bath for my neck. And the shout out to Complex USA. Thank you for the their Theragun, man. That thing's been helping out a lot. But so I just some injections in my neck just last week and in both my shoulders. So that's stem cell therapy. I'll preach that for sure for solid treatment.
Yeah, it seems like the world of sports, man, they're taking advantage of that stem cell. What about, like the oils and stuff, like the CBD oils? Are you using that? Is that actually helpful for you?
Oh yeah, man. I got some oils, and to be honest, like with all the pains and stuff that you feel, unless you're really getting injected with some like heavy dosage stuff, everything's just kind of like it's not like you're just like, oh my gosh, I feel amazing from this. It's kind of like, oh, I forgot that hurts. Kind of like if anything that can get me to forget about the pain I'm in, or like, and that's a beneficial product to me. Now, like the products like stem cell and stuff like that, those are actually they're injecting you with stuff like where like yeah, with all the stuff you're getting a natural recovery rate, but like like when you're getting injected with some stuff, like you start to feel the benefits quicker, and like that's like that's why you see those athletes, they're going into stem cell therapy because they are seeing like, holy shit, this stuff is working, like you feel a ton better, after those therapies.
Flying down to Guatemala, how's that, man? Did you even try to find a place to train or anything like that while you're down there?
Well, I mean, I was down there for I got there Thursday night, or actually Friday morning at midnight. And then by the time I got through customs, it was like 2 a.m. But so I was there from basically Friday morning to Sunday morning. So it was very quick, very therapeutic session. I was put up in a condo or an Airbnb that had a gym down there at the bottom. So and part of the therapy was oxygen therapy, 30 minutes on oxygen therapy that I did twice a day. And that was basically what I did for workouts in between, because in between all the the therapy.
For sure. Now you're living in Colorado. Why'd the switch? It seems like you've transplanted to Colorado your whole life, right?
Yeah, man. I mean, yeah, I was in Cali for the last 15 years, and it was kind of like like you said, a quick uprooting, if you will, and like just went over to Colorado under Mark Montoya at Factory X. It's kind of like I had to sit down with my coach or excuse me, with my manager, Jason House, and we were like, I asked him, we're in agreement that the best switch for me to make to pursue my UFC career is to switch to a gym like Factory X, somewhere at that caliber. And I sent him a text, and he called me like seconds later, and we had a full-on conversation. Like, yes, man, I believe this is a switch that you need to make. And it was ultimately the fact that I lost my last fight, and how I lost it, and how systematically I break myself down when I review that fight. Is like, I need to get better, and I need to analyze and be more in the game. And what access of a gym do I have to do that, and what gym will I fit in? And my manager and I came up with Factory X.
All right, man. Well, Factory X is stocked full of UFC guys, Bellator, you know, you name it. You know what I mean? It's a killer room. Like, who do you work with mostly in there?
Oh man, I've been getting a lot of good rounds with. It's funny because I'm one of the older guys on the team now. They're all young bucks over in there, and like you know, some of the older guys, if they are older than me, they're like high caliber. Dustin Jacoby is one of them. You know, former Glory kickboxer, and now he's just doing work in the UFC right now. Lionheart. So Anthony Smith, when he came down and did his last training camp, he was there. I haven't like you know Kraus hasn't come up yet because he's been busy with his own gym and everything, and I really want to get some training with him. But another one of my training partners, Jacoby Jones, shout out, homie. I'm actually bringing him up. He made his pro debut not too long ago, and then had a follow up fight, and he's doing good. So I'm really proud of Jacoby Jones. He's gonna be one of my cornermen there. So I've been getting some work with you know and some more with Anthony or excuse me Alex Hernandez. Um, and Cody Brundage, you know, he's a good 185. He just had a 185 fight, and so you know he's got some big fight announcement coming up soon. So I just have a lot of good sparring partners. Oh, and Josh Frem, also on 185 LFA contender, dude. Like that guy, I've been getting a lot of good work with just a lot of these people at Factory X that are just like they're either UFC or right on the cusp of being in there.
For sure, man. That's a crazy list of fighters, man. Let's talk about your fight, man. Your upcoming opponent, Mickey Gall. He's known in the industry. He's basically grown up in the UFC. Overall thoughts on him and his UFC run so far?
You know, shout out to Mickey. I mean, honestly, anyone who can compete and keep a job in the UFC for as long as he's done, he's obviously 6-3. I think he did his first fight. Was his first fight? His first fight wasn't for UFC. It was on Dana White. Dana White's like looking for a fight, right?
That's right.
I think that was that was his debut.
Mm-hmm.
And so, man, like I give a shout out to and recognition to his jiu-jitsu game. I don't really respect his stand-up, you know, and I think that's where I beat him in my wrestling on the ground. I just want to wrestle him and I'm gonna strike him and I'm gonna outwork him and I'm gonna throw in a bunch of pieces of puzzle that like you know a lot of people haven't seen from me before yet that have only been added under you know under my new coach.
Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely. I think that's what is the anticipation in this fight, to see what you have added to your game working at Factory X with Mark Montoya. Now, another big factor in this fight is that you're moving down to welterweight. The last time, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, 2016, Dwight Grant, that was the last time you was at welterweight. Why did you decide to drop?
You know what? I mean, first off, that fight, I ended 170 off on a bad note. I popped like a major blood vessel on my head before that fight. I mean, it's just like, how can I take devastating shots from my last fight, you know, Nasruddin, and then in the first round against Dwight Grant, I go down. I went into that fight I had black eyes before that fight, and I should have like every professional advisor that I talked to, I was like, "No, man, you shouldn't have gone to that fight. You should have said something." And but you know, needed the money, and I would love the rematch like that. Oh my goodness, that would be on a different note. But you know, the reason why I decided to drop down is because you know, Mark. Coach Mark Montoya said so, and him and my management agree that you know, I mean, if you look at me and you look at like Paulo Costa and those size bodies, you know, I just don't add up, you know, and like right now, when I got back from this last trip, like I got back on a Wednesday, so I was only doing light workouts. I stepped on the scale 179 and 180, like throughout at the end of the week. Before my workouts. After my workouts, I was weighing like 177, super light. So I just like my frame and my size. It's just like at this level, like we've all in agreement that 170s is a target that you know I should be at, and now I can make with you know with higher quality help and being on a higher stage.
For sure, man. With everything, all the factors, man, how do you see yourself taking out Mickey Gall?
Man, I see me taking him out. Like I'm not gonna limit myself to any time frame. But I just feel like just the work that me and Coach Jordan and Coach Mark have been doing, it's just gonna be from anywhere. I was like, just anywhere. Like like before, and that's an actually specific answer for me because I would normally say my boxing or some ground and pound, and be pretty solid. With saying that my left hand is gonna be the one that takes him out. But I'm just gonna say, Mickey, watch out from all angles because like I feel the knockouts can come anywhere. It is going to be knockout. If I were to put my bottom dollar, it's gonna be knockout. I just don't know how. Like it's coming from anywhere.
All right, all right. Well, sticking to the theme of welterweight, that's your new division now. I'd like to pick your brain about some of the activities going on in that weight division. You were in Northern California for 15 years. Nate Diaz from Stockton, Northern California. Even though he lost that fight to Leon Edwards, man, it seems like he still won in the eyes of the fans. In your perspective, man, Nate Diaz, what makes him so popular? Why do the fans love him so much?
I mean, can you like be portrayed as a realist any harder than Nate Diaz?
Yeah.
He's a realist. Like he says what everyone wished they would have the balls to say in front of the camera. So I think he's like just subconsciously speaks up for the people who can't, and represents them. And fuck, man, who doesn't like to smoke some weed? I mean, let's be real. Like, even the people who don't smoke weed, most of you would if your job would allow you to. So.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's like freedom. I mean, he's kind of like a representation of freedom and freedom of speech in some ways.
Exactly. No, that's exactly it. He's freedom. That's my boy. Definitely, like when you say freedom, that's Nate Diaz, man. Like we come in, he said training's at 6. He might be there 6:30. Freedom.
Have you done a lot of training with him or?
Oh yeah, I mean when I was back in Cali, I definitely would try, it was a 2-hour drive. I'd definitely go out there and train with Nate, and I was out there for a good solid of camps like that Nate had leading up, and camps that I would have out. And he would actually come up to Santa Rosa and our part of town and just to get some work and would request for me. So, which made me feel real good. So, yeah, I did get some good quality work with Nate, and I appreciate all the time he gave with us because every time I came down there, he offered us a place to stay. He had an apartment just for the fighters, and he offered me a place to stay. And it was pretty cool. Getting the opportunity.
It says a lot, man, if he's asking for you to come in because he's a guy that's kind of like closed off. He has his crew and he trains with them, but for you to come in and help him out and vice versa, that's probably incredible work for you. Now let's play matchmaker, man. The next title shot, it's not determined. Some people are like Leon Edwards, others are like Colby Covington. Some people are like if Wonderboy beats Gilbert Burns, let's put him in there. What do you see? How do you think the next title shot will go?
Like I love the Gilbert Burns and Wonderboy matchup. That sounds like a banger. I feel like and Colby Covington and Leon, but I just don't like how they're gonna waste like both Gilbert and didn't he come off a loss to Usman? That's Gilbert's last fight, right?
Yes.
And Wonderboy, didn't he lose? Did he win or lose his last fight as well?
He won his last fight.
Okay, so then I win. So yeah, then I like that. I forgot that he won his last fight. I was thinking of the Pettis fight for some reason. But so yeah, as long as they're not putting up 2 losses together, and Leon and Colby. So Colby, that is a loss. What was Colby's last fight?
His last fight was. Man, I know he won his. Oh, Woodley. I believe it was Woodley.
Oh, so yeah. So you know what? Yeah, and he looked good against Woodley. So you know what? Covington. I like the Covington and Leon like because Kobe, they both look like strong wins, and Gilbert needs to get his win back. So I think, man, of all those names that we just talked about, I would say that it's either between like Kobe or Leon. Like they definitely they fight it out and they get the title shot, and then whoever wins their first title defense is the winner of the other fight. I mean, that's probably what a lot of people are already saying, but I mean, I mean, unless someone has a couple flashy knockouts in a row to get me off the jocks, I believe that those guys all they're in their shot.
What if
So,
Nate just leapfrogged himself and talked himself into a title shot while those guys were fighting it out?
I mean, I think I mean I agree with that's I like with the fight, how everyone thinks that, or he was out, homeboy was out, but all circumstances like aside, it wasn't a case. It's like if the judges we had to give Leon the fight, it's like my boy Nate has to do some more work than just talking, like, because I don't believe in Nate talking. He was the realest, but like we got to get him. Like I would love him to rematch Masvidal and get him the win because he was starting to win that fight at the end, or it was starting to turn. Everyone knows how Nate, like give him those last 2 rounds. We gotta get, against the Masvidal fight, everyone would be thinking differently about that Nate actually lost that Masvidal fight because I don't think they gave Nate enough time. So I would love him to see a rematch, excuse me, against Masvidal, and now then get him back in the running.
I just wanted to get one more thing. Covington, right? He was this like fighter at the beginning of his career with the UFC, quiet guy, just went in there, won. Great fighter, and then he switched. He made the switch to this character, Chaos, so called, right? And his comments borderline. What I mean? It can be offensive, and what are your thoughts on all that trash talk and the character?
I mean, shit. I don't care. I mean, I commend him for being able to openly do that to a point where everyone knows that it's just a character. Like, I wish I envy that. I wish I could be like I'm still the guy who I talk to myself before every interview. Hey, let's shorten up our answers. You know, let alone have this whole persona going out like that I only use for a camera. So I commend that. Just those, man, don't say any racist shit. Like And I mean, if you are gonna say some racist shit, like be real about it. You know what I'm saying? It's funny because Kobe's actually like he actually made a comment on one of my videos or something, or one of a posts about me about how I got screwed after my second Contender Series fight. And he's like, "Man, sign this guy." So I thought, since that, I can't really hate on it. I actually, yeah, I was like, "Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate you for that." I don't really support all about what some of the controversial shit he said, but I do support whatever you got to do to make the money, man. We're entertainers. At the end of the day, why am I judging him for how he's entertaining? Like, he's doing his job. He's getting the camera. He's getting more attention on us as fighters in general, and in general. And honestly, if he can do that and carry the weight, why the fuck would I care? And why the fuck would I not be thankful for Colby Covington for doing our dirty work? So he could be the city trash talker on purpose and get people to think that people all the attention on fighting, and I can be my own person, and I can get my money being the fucking diabetic hero. You know what I'm saying? So like, whatever. I'm cool with that.
You're back in action, dude. July 24th. I'm happy for you. UFC Fight Night, Las Vegas. Jordan, appreciate the time. Good luck to you, man. And we'll speak again soon.
Hey, man. Hey, probably, yeah, man. Sounds good. I appreciate the time. Thanks for always having me. Making me feel good about myself. And, I'm gonna carry this energy, and we're gonna get this win come July 24th against Mickey Gall. I mean, I'm ready. Everyone, just stay tuned. Stay tuned. Big things coming.